What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the video. And in today's video, I want to talk about the difference between self-employment, as in having your own business, side hustle, making money independently on your own, versus being an employee and working for somebody, having a job, basically. And I want to share basically my perspective from someone who has done both. For most of my working adult life, I was an employee. I've worked quite a bit of jobs. I'm 30 years old, and I think my first job was a janitor, and then I worked in restaurants for years, busser, back server, and then I worked different serving jobs for a long time. I mainly stuck in the restaurant industry for many years until I left when I was 28 and started my window cleaning business at 28. And I've had my own business, a storefront window cleaning business, for almost 2 years now. And I've experienced what it's like to be self-employed. Okay, so first thing I would say, the benefit, the pro of being self-employed over being, or self-employment over being an employee, is control. How many variables more you have control over? As having your own business, you have control over the services that you provide. You have control over who you choose to do business with, how much you charge, your marketing, your work ethic, how much you want to work. Jobs you're given, you have to work 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever time shift they give you. You could work whatever. You could work 3 hours, you could work 10 hours, you could work 16 hours. You are the determiner of almost everything when you're self-employed, which can be great or not so great, depending on the person. Some people don't do well with having to wear all the hats. And when you're self-employed, you have to wear all the hats, especially when you're starting. You have to be the marketer, the salesperson, the service provider, the operations manager, everything, the administrator, the accountant. You have to do everything. And I mean, you can outsource it. You can maybe pay people to do stuff for you. But when you're starting, I'm assuming you're starting with not much money. So you don't have money to pay other people to do stuff for you, at least not yet. So, but that's great because with that control comes a sense of responsibility and a sense of achievement. When you make stuff happen, when you're landing clients, you're getting work, you're making money, you feel a sense of achievement, of a boost in your self-confidence because you are making things happen independently. You're doing it. And working jobs before, the job is exciting for a couple months, but then it wears off and the job just becomes routine. The job becomes just the same thing over and over, and it's not really exciting. Business is exciting because it's always a hunt. It's always a continuous process of learning, of adapting, of getting more clients, of maybe expanding services, testing different ways of marketing. It's a constant progression. It's a constant, way to improve yourself, and it's exciting. It's very satisfying, much more satisfying than a job, in my experience. Another thing I would say why self-employment is better personally than being an employee is the flexibility of my time and my life. When you work a job, you are given a certain time and place to be somewhere, and you have to be there. You can't say, "Oh, I can't do this time. I can only work 2 hours today. I can only work 3 hours today. Oh, I have to be gone for 3 days because of a family matter." No, with a job, you have to be there to do the job. But with your own business, you can communicate with your client, "Hey, I'm not going to be available these 3 days. I'm not going to be available next week. We need to reschedule, for next week, what day would work for you. So you have a lot more ability to design your day, which is massive for people. If you're an individual who truly values their time and how you spend your time, once you gain control over your time, your flexibility of time through self employment, you're making enough money. It is a game changer in terms of just mental well being. You know, like the fact that I can, design my days and I have a lot more time nowadays than when I used to work jobs to do other things, do things that I enjoy, to spend time going to the gym, going to the beach, training martial arts, going out, doing salsa, bachata dancing, doing all sorts of different hobbies that I enjoy. I have the time to do that. I have the flexibility to do that because I am the one who designed my work, my work style. I don't essentially I don't live my life around my work, like my life is not orbiting around work. Work orbits around me. I decide where work fits in. So control over time, flexibility of time is massive, massive, and is pretty achievable. It's pretty achievable. Initially, when you're starting your business, you're going to have to work a significant amount. You're going to have to be getting out there, pitching, getting clients, and building your business. Because don't expect, flexibility right off the bat. You have to build your business to a point where you're making some money, and then you have some recurring income coming in. So don't expect that to be there right when you start. You have to work for that. But once you build a base of recurring revenue, which is what I have done with my business of storefront window cleaning, then that's when the flexibility comes in more. So that's a big one, flexibility of time, and employment. I mean, I guess employment can be good, I guess, if you like a very set structure and you're a person that needs direction. You need somebody to tell you what to do. You don't like to think of what to do. If that's you, then maybe being an employee is better for you. But if you're someone who likes to self-govern, self-direct, then you're probably better suited to be self-employed because you yourself will dictate your work and you don't like to have other people do that for you. So yeah. So what was the first point? We covered control of many more variables when you're self-employed. We control flexibility of time. What else? I think I kind of touched this with the last point is just general mental well-being. I believe is better for myself personally, being self-employed rather than being employed. I feel a lot better mentally because I feel the sense of satisfaction from growing my business and earning money through my own services, through my own channels, through my own business. It's there is a leveling up of my self-esteem and confidence because when you build your own thing, you have to actually build competence. You build confidence from going out there, finding clients, learning how to price them, learning how to get them to pay you repeatedly, building your reputation. All of these things builds skills, and those skills make you feel competent. When you become competent, and when you become competent, you become confident. And that just makes you feel better as a person. You feel a sense of achievement a lot more than a job. You go, you do whatever tasks are required to keep your job, and that's it. There's not much sense of achievement with that. When you do your own thing, there's a very clear sense of achievement when you are progressing. And that really does wonders for your sense of confidence. It makes you feel better about yourself, about, your sense of capability. And like I mentioned the other things before, having control over your time and different aspects of your life, you just feel better, in my experience. That has proven to be true. So, yeah, I've been rambling on. Wow. Overarching message of this video is I believe that in today's world, being self employed, having your own business has never been more accessible. It has never been more easy in the sense of getting started or getting ideas or getting paid. We have our cell phones that have payment processors, messaging, everything, marketing, everything can be done on the phone. You could build a business, and I just advise anybody out there who's curious about starting a business to try it. You don't even think of it as like business. When people say I want to start a business, or they think about starting a business, it might be a little intimidating because they think that encompasses this big monumental task, but in reality it's not really that big. It's just finding a specific service that you can provide other people, that other people are willing to pay for and are already paying for. For example, myself, I saw storefront window cleaning. I saw people were already paying for it. There was a demand for it, and it was easily accessible. I could easily get into it. So I decided that. I got the basic equipment, and I started. I started taking action. I started getting out there. And little time later, I had built a small business that paid me enough to live my life. And it's really that simple. It's just starting and testing things, seeing what works, and experiencing it for yourself. And I think that it is a valuable experience that everybody should experience. Being self-employed, it's an experience you should have, especially in today's world, which is it's more accessible. Try it out. Having a job, being employed, is not the only way to earn income in today's world. There are many ways, and one of the best ways is being self-employed. So think about that, ponder it, and then take some action if you're serious about it. And start small. Doesn't have to be anything big. And that's basically my message today. So drink my iced coffee. If you guys are interested in a storefront window cleaning business and starting and building a recurring income storefront route, I have the storefront window cleaning blueprint that is going to be in the description and the pinned comment. It's my whole system on how to pitch clients, how to price jobs, how to set up your social media for business, how to essentially get clients on a recurring plan and build a recurring income storefront business. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, go check it out. That's the video. See you guys in the next one.